Hello everyone and welcome for this new tutorial. In this new tutorial we will see how to use the aim node in control rig. With this node we will be able to make a robot always looking at the target. So we'll be able to specify a target and the spine bone will always look at that target. We will see how to do that with a bipedal robot, and then we will see how to do that with a tank which has two cannons. So we'll be able to make them look at the target. Okay, so here is my little project that we will use to create our aiming system. So I have this character. I will open it. It's a little robot. This robot, I would like to have the bone, this spine 1 bone, that's always going to look toward the character, or toward an enemy. The spine will be able to rotate at 360, so the character can be rotating at 90 degrees and still be able to walk. So we'll do something like that. First of all, we will click on our skeletal mesh, and we will create a new control rig. I'm going to call this CTR for control rig underscore Peewee aim. So we will open it. And you can see that my workspace will probably not be the same as you have. I changed the default workspace. I have the rig hierarchy on the left. I have the viewport in the left also. And then I have all of the blueprint in the middle, and on the right I have the detail panel, preview scene, animations, and the blueprint variable there on the bottom right. So the node that we want to use is the aim. So we'll type aim, and in here we have the aim node. In this node we can specify a bone, and we can say that this bone is gonna have a specific target, and the bone is always gonna be looking toward that target. So let's choose our bone. Our bone is gonna be the spine 1. So we go in here and we choose spine 1. And then we need to create a target. For the target, we'll create a new control. So we right click on spine 1, we'll create new control. I will rename this to be target underscore aim. Up, we will right click and unparent. It's Shift P. Then I will move this target. So I will move it somewhere like here and a little bit up. Now, if I want this location to be the default location of the target aim, I can right click to the target aim and choose set offset transform from current. Now, if I compile, the target aim is always going to be in here. If I move it and I recompile, it's going to go back to its initial position. And now we need to use this target aim to be the target. So we'll get the control and we will use the location of that target. So it's the translation. In the aim node, you can see that we have a primary. It will be the primary target and the secondary target. The primary target is going to be the target for the bone. So for example, if I get my Peewee, if I look at the axis of this bone, I will have to specify in the primary target which axis is always going to be looking toward, that always be going toward the target. So for us, it's going to be the Y in here. You can see this green axis. You want the green axis to always be looking at the target. So we'll use that. It will be the Y into the positive. So into axis, I will put 0 in X and 1 into the Y. And we can plug the translation to the target. Now if you plug it, you will see, up, we are getting something already. If I move the target aim, you can see that the spine is always looking toward this target. So it's pretty cool. Now we just need to specify which axis is going to be the top axis. If I look at the Peewee, we can see that, oops, if I click on the spine 1, the Z-axis, we want the Z-axis to always be facing up. So that will be our secondary axis. The secondary axis is for the to keep the bones in the up position. So the primary is which axis is going to look always toward the control, and the secondary axis is going to be the one that's always going to try to stay up. So if I open the secondary axis, you can see that we have a target and an axis. In the axis, the Z on +1 is good. We just need to specify a target. We can use the translation. We can use the Z-axis in here of the translation, but as the character is always going to be trying to look up, we can just put in here, into the target, I'll remove 1 into the X, I can put something like 500, maybe 250 up. And now, as we can see, our character aiming is perfect. can see it's going to look toward the target. And if a target is here, the character is going to be shooting at that target. That's pretty cool. So we have a very easy aiming system. Now we would like to change the target aim. We would like to change the target aim location with a blueprint. So in the blueprint of this character, we will specify like this is the target, and then the target aim is going to be changed to be at the position of the enemy. So to do that, I will first create a sequence. Up. Into B, I'm going to put this. And on A, I will take my target aim and I will do set translation like this. And we need to create a new variable. So in here, into the blueprint, we will create a variable. It's going to be target location. It will be of type vector. Compile and save. And we will get this target location. And we can plug this into the value. Now we can see that our target location is here on 000. So I'm going to add a default value. I would like to be something like 250 and 250. Oops, that's too much. 100. So 250 and 100 looks good. Now that we have done that, this target location, I'm going to click on the variable. We need to expose on spawn. We'll do expose on spawn and instance editable. We'll compile and save. One thing that we need to do is that this target location, we add a default value. But this default value is in the rig space. So we have two spaces in control rig. We have the world space and we have the rig space. The world space is with the location, for example, on the world. If I get an enemy position of one blueprint, it will be the world position in the world. So it will be the position in the world, so it's the world position. We need to transfer this location in the world space to a location into the rig space. That's very important. So you will have some issue if you don't do that. So this target location will be into world space. We can either transform this target location in here to set the control into the rig space, but we can also use it in here. So in here, if I want to transform this location translation to be from the world, so we can use from world. So that means that this value will be from the world position from the world space, and this one will be from the rig space. So I put this in here, and I can use this in here. And now this value that's going to be set up as to be the location into the world space will be transferred into the rig space because the aim node needs to use something into the rig space. So that's very important. We can compile and save, and now our character is ready. We can now create a new animation blueprint. So I will right click on my skeletal mesh and create a new animation blueprint. Call this APB PW aim. And now we can just set it up. We will open it. And we need to use a control rig. So we can just type control rig. Use this one. And if we scroll on the right, we can see in here control rig class. We'll choose our control rig. CTR PW aim. And now that we have set up this control rig class, we can see our target location. So we can choose use pin. And now we can see our variable. It's not set up in here. So we can promote this to a variable. We keep target location. And we just plug this in here. Okay. And now we just need to set this target location to be the value of the location of our enemy. So if I go into the event graph, I will delete this. I will do a begin play. I already have set up the blueprint of the character for the enemy stuff. I will just show you how it is. In this TA unit, if I have an enemy target, you can see if I have an enemy target, if it's valid, I will get the actor location, I will set the target location. So I can use this variable that exists in my TA units, as this character will be a child of this TA unit. So we do this, we will cast to TA unit, BP TA units, up like that. Promote this to a variable, okay. And then we just need to set this value, this target location. So we'll use it will be the event blueprint update animation. We will do, is this valid? Do we have a TA unit? So is valid. If this is valid, we will get the target location. And we can set it up in here, up, up. And now it should be working. So I will show you the result as I already created it. I have the exact same thing. I have this character, which is already set up. It's a child of TA unit, and he has his own control rig with the aiming system. If I play the game, I can actually click on it. That's nothing to do with the control rig, just to show you. If I go in here, this is an enemy. So if I right click on this enemy, my character is looking toward that enemy. I can move. You can see it's always gonna look at the enemy. It also works with an enemy that is on his little tower. You can right click, and it's gonna start shooting toward that enemy. So that's pretty cool. So we'll do the exact same with the tank. This is the tank. I will open the tank, and this has 3 bones. So it will be a little bit more complicated. We have the tank rotor, that's gonna be able to rotate into the z-axis. And we'll have the tank cannon left and right, that's gonna be able to go up and down, and a little bit like this. Really a little bit. So we'll do that. So the same as the PV, we will right click and create a new control rig. Change the name to be CTR underscore flash aim. We'll open that. And we'll do the exact same thing. First, we will create a new control on the tank rotor. New control. We'll call this target aim. We will unparent by right clicking or doing Shift P. Then we will move it around. If you cannot see the axis, you either press W or you can click on here and choose translate mode. You can see the shortcut is W. So we'll move it in the front. Up. Then you can right click set offset transform from current. Now if I compile, it's always gonna stay there. That's good. So now we'll use the aim node. First we will work with the rotor. So we like the rotor to rotate only into the z-axis. So we'll choose in here the tank rotor, and we need to specify the primary and secondary axis. So I will get my target aim, I will get the control, I will get the translation up, I will open target and axis of the primary axis. There is a little stuff that we can do. First we will check the axis. So the primary axis of our rotor, I will do up this to go to the axis. So we would like the y-axis to always be looking toward the control. But we need to be careful because if the control goes up, this axis will go up also. So we need to be careful. There is a little tricks to make it work. We will use only the x and y value. The z value will be a default value so that the rotor is always going to be looking at the same z-axis. You will see. So we'll plug. First, we will do y to be positive. If I put this one and I go up, I need to plug this. I will have a little issue with the secondary axis, but it's okay. If I go up, you can see that the rotor is actually looking up this. And that's not good, we don't want that. So we'll just plug X into target and Y into target. Now it's looking down, we just need to specify the Z to be something like 125. And now our rotor is always gonna be looking like that, even if it go up and down. You can see the rotor is not changing as the Z value is the default value. And now if I change this one, you can see it's rotating. There is still a little issue. First, we need to set up the secondary axis, then we will treat this issue. For the secondary axis, it should be the up, which will be the Z into the positive. So the axis will be Z into the positive, and the target, we can use something like 125, maybe 200. We'll try with this. So now it's looking in the good direction. The only thing is it's rotating like that because we need to actually block the rotation of all the different axes and only allow the Z rotation. So you can, in here, I forgot to put 0 into the X target. It's going to be a little bit better. And we'll create a sequence. Up, up. I will put this into B. Create two other we'll see after that. Up. And now to do that, I will just modify the rotation of the rotor. So I can get the tank rotor, I will do a get bone, and in here I have the rotation. This is the rotation as a quaternion, so we need to break this quaternion. So we transform this quaternion to be a Euler or Euler value. So we do 2 Euler, so from quaternion. Keep this to be like that, and now we have access to all the different rotation in Euler. From this Euler, we will do from Euler. So we'll transform this Euler value into a quaternion. We'll open this, and the only rotation that I want is the Z rotation. I just want the rotation of the rotor like this, and not the rotation in all the different axes. So I just plug this, and we'll keep X and Y to be at 0. And now I can just set up the rotor rotation. Up like that. I can plug this in here, and plug this into my sequence. And now that's the magic. If I rotate, my cannon is always rotating only on the Z-axis. That's pretty cool. So it looks good. Now we need to set up the cannon to be rotating like that. So let's put this little bit here. We need some space. This will stay down like that. And now we'll create a new aim node. Just right click, aim. And this will be for the left cannon. We start with the left cannon. So we choose tank cannon left. So for the target and the axis of the primary axis, if we open the skeleton, we can see that the Y is the primary axis and the Z in positive, both positive, will be the secondary axis. So we can set that straight away. Axis will be Y into the positive, and the Z in the secondary should be good already. That's good. Now we specify target and of primary axis and secondary axis. To simplify, we will just use the target aim. Get control, we'll get the translation. We can use this as the target and also the target of the secondary axis because we need the Z value. And we will do that. Now if I look, we can see that it's rotating a little bit on the Z axis. If I go into rotation, you can see that it's rotating a little bit on the Z axis. This one. So it's not that bad. If we have something very close to the tank, if the cannon goes a little bit like that, it's fine. We could actually transform that to not have the rotation into the Z, but we don't really care. If I move, we'll check. If I move this, you can see that it's rotating and it's going up and down. So that's pretty cool. Now we'll do the exact same with the other cannon. To be the tank cannon right. And for the right, we have the axes that are not in the same way. You can see that the Y is on the opposite side. So we need minus Y. And for the Z, it will be the same. It will be minus Z. So we just change that. So it's minus Y, so minus 1. And into the axis of the secondary, be minus Z. So we do minus 1, if I can. Minus 1, okay. And we'll plug that in here. And it will be the exact same thing. We do translation into target and translation of our control into the target of this one. And now it's going to look pretty good. Can rotate. You can see that if I go too close, it will look weird, but we'll protect that with the box collision of our tank. It's fine. We can make sure that everything is always at that distance. So that's pretty cool. Now we just need to make the same setup with the variable. So I can create a new variable target location, which should be a vector. We'll do a get target location and we will set this translation of our control. And to simplify it, we will not transform this to be a rig space and this one to be a rig space. We just do it here. So we can plug this and do from world. Tag in here. So the control will be straight away into the rig space and not the world space. That should be a world location. Up, we will set up this to be 250 and this one to be 250. So it's looking pretty good. Now we are good to go. We will just have to do the exact same setup as the PW, as the other character. We put that into an animation blueprint. We put the target location to be an input. We don't forget to do expose on spawn and instance editable to not have issue. And then we can plug that into the blueprint, get the target location, and it will work. So I will show you the result. If I launch my game, I have this tank which can roam around. And now if I click on an enemy, you will see that the cannon is gonna look toward the enemy in all the time, even if it's moving. So that's pretty cool. And it also works with the character that is on the tower. If I click on this tank, then click on this guy, see? It looks very good. The rotor is always just rotating into the Z axis like that, and the cannon is looking up. And if I go and take this guy place, we see that the cannon is looking at the character. So that's working. And so that's it for today. It's a very cool feature. You can make it to actually aim at something. It's also work if you have played the game Starfield. They use it to actually, when you enter into the collision of one non-player character, the non-player character is gonna always look at you when you pass next to it, or if the character is going next to you. It's always gonna be looking at you. It's the same kind of system. You can use that with the neck bone or the head, if you only have a head bone. And you can use the aim system to always look toward someone. So when you make a dialogue system, if you want to make a cinematic, if you don't want to be always moving the head of the character and just make them move, make them talk, and have the head and the torso going to look at the person, you can use the aim node. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section. You can also join the Discord server. The link will be in the description. If you have any question, if you want to show us what you're working on, feel free to go in the Discord and share what you're working on and ask any question. And you can also become a membership of this channel if you want to help me. You can actually become a member. You will have some bunny emoji. I will probably change them to make something a little bit better. There will also be badges and stuff like that. So stay tuned. If you like this video and you got some good information, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss the next video. And so that's it for me. I will see you next week on the next video. Bye.